Son of a gun. They used to listen here too, huh?
Isn't it amazing that, again, 3885 on pop culture, music industry, all kinds of stuff. Did you get a chance to tune in for the extraterrestrial and no net, or well, I'm getting the nets mixed up, the extraterrestrial and supernatural net night?
No. I was so busy handing out 8 candy bars the whole night that I didn't have time.
I solved that problem. I'll share with you my solution, and then next year you only have another 363 days and you can implement the N1BCG. Notice the little product placement of an ID there. For handling stuff like that, I rented a vending machine and put it at the end of the driveway on extension cord. So there you go. Pay-as-you-go economy, you little bungers. You want candy? Sorry, no free handout at BCG World Broadcast Empire headquarters. You pay. Oh, and there's an ATM across the street. Anyway, worked magic.
Oh man, Perry, that guy's the ultimate capitalist, huh? Where are his socialist values, Perry?
I don't know, man. What's this world coming to, Rob? You need to stop. You need to not conform, Clark. You need to stick it to the man.
Hey, listen, you people. You want free health care? Stay under 18 years old so your parents always pay for it.
Well, I only ask them one question when they come up and knock on the door and say trick or treat. I say, are you in phase?
And how does that go over?
There's only one right answer.
I'll bet your house gets egged a lot.
No, the reality is not too many kids want to climb the mountain here. the driveway is a little formidable, so they actually pass me by. It takes them 3 minutes to get up and 4 minutes to get down unless they fall and skid all the way to the bottom. And it's like only 15 seconds, down the street to get to the next house. So, it's easier just to pass us by.
Oh, you mean work is involved in getting candy? I can't even believe kids bother anymore these days with getting dressed up and having to go out and walk around and panhandle for candy. You would think that, again, coming back to this, that they just don't go on, like Amazon and click the candy that they want and have it, primed to them the next day. See, no effort, no exercise.
I live in the city, and I didn't get any trick-or-treaters. Granted, I didn't have my light on, but my shack's in the front room of my house. So I sit right by the window, and I look out the front window right to my sidewalk, and I didn't see. I think I saw maybe one kid and one family walk by in costume. And normally, even with my light off, I get people knocking on my door. So, I usually don't give out candy. I guess you can call me a Scrooge. I don't care. But I used to when I had my ex was living with me, and we had the kid and all. I'd usually stay back and hand out the candy, and they would go out trick or treating. But I don't know if I don't know if they rescheduled it, because I know a lot of places rescheduled. I think until tonight because of the that storm that rolled through. They thought, I guess, was going to come through earlier than it did, but no, we didn't really get any trick or treaters here this year. W3MMR
and W1AEX, yeah, the same thing. The weather was really horrendous, and the kids who actually made it up the driveway, if they weren't breathing hard, I said, "You're strong. Here's 2 candy bars." And if they're breathing hard and whiny, I'd go, "You're weak. Here's 1 candy bar for you. You're too weak for 2." In any event, there's some legitimate dangers out here. We have bears prowling around at night. We have bobcats that have been pretty active in my area here, and coyotes are also out and about. So I think a lot of the kids here, wisely their parents have, like, a get-together at one friend's house and they have a party or something and give out the candy there. And that's not a bad idea out here, where you never know what's going to come stumbling out of the woods.
Can you imagine a whole bunch of kids going around trick-or-treating dressed as gazelles?
W2SDR.
Hey, Frank, that would go over really big with the predators out here. How you doing, Frank? W1AEX.
Good, Rob. Perry, Clark, whoever else may be lurking, just turned the radio on here a few minutes ago. Was listening upstairs. I didn't hear anybody, and came down here, and the radio was tuned to 3925. Must have a gremlin down here. You got all those ghost stories you guys were telling. Somebody was messing with my band spread. That's how you get under my skin. You mess with my band spread.
Yeah, I came over there and screwed it up. I snuck in and snuck out.
I've got a jar of band spread in the kitchen cabinet next to the peanut butter.
Yeah, a band spread and peanut butter sandwich.
Speaking of peanut butter, I need to figure out what I'm doing for dinner.
Simple answer, Perry. Mr. Frosty.
Mr. Softy stopped cruising the neighborhood, man. It's November.
Why don't you try something green for a change, Perry, and not moldy?
Yeah, green. How about peanut butter cup ice cream from Friendly's? Oh, man, that stuff's good. And it's good for you.
See, Rob, you're a bad influence, man. I haven't had ice cream in probably 3 weeks. I've been doing really good with not eating ice cream. But no, I can't do it. I can't do it. No, I just can't do it. I do have these veggie burger things. They're not like really veggie burgers. I call them rice burgers. They're like these patties that are made of rice patty burger things, and they're advertised as veggie burgers, but they're not bad. I have those in the freezer. I can make them, and I'm tired of eating. I normally either eat pizza, or baked chicken in the oven, or like TV dinners. That's what basically my meals consist of, or tacos.
Well, I want to grow up to be big and strong like your dad, so that's why I eat the peanut butter cup ice cream.
One of my ex-girlfriends used to make vegetarian hamburgers and stuff like that because she was a vegan. And so when she made dinner, I would eat that stuff. Well, what's the alternative? I go home and then the evening ends at that point? No.
Well, I've tried some of these new meat products. There's a company called Beyond Meat. I don't know if you guys ever heard of them. They make burgers, they make Italian sausage, and I'm telling you, that stuff is really, really good. The only problem is it's not cheap. None of that stuff, the healthy stuff, is cheap. It ends up being about $3 or $4 a burger. But it is excellent, and you can't tell the difference between that and real meat. So just another alternative out there, but like the sausage, I'll get that rather than the burger. What I'll do is I'll cook that. I'll get some sausage cooked. I slice it up, okay, one link. It's about
All right, Rob.
5 inches long by about 1 inch around. And I'll saute that with some olive oil and garlic. Then I'll make about 2 or 3 ounces of pasta, okay? And then when the pasta is done, I put the oil, garlic, and sausage mix it in with the pasta, and put some parsley and grated cheese on the top.
That sounds good. Rob had to run. I know he said he'll be back. That actually doesn't sound that bad. I would probably eat that.
It's good for you, you know, and so I'll make that up and some nights, and to change things up a bit. But I did have reheated Hungry Howie's pizza for lunch.
That was that place in Delaware you went to, right?
Remember we went to the Hungry Howie's when we were in Michigan?
That was the place we went to? Did we eat there, or did we get it and bring it back?
Place. I don't know if you remember, but I got really pissed off at somebody that almost run me off the road, and I was like a road rage guy.
I remember that, yes. I do remember that pretty vividly, actually.
Well, that was on the way back from Hungry Howie's. Hungry Howie's, there's another Hungry Howie. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, they're only little. They're like a Domino's thing. You can't sit down in them.
That sounds good, man. God, all this pizza talk. I'm out of pizzas, too. Last pizza I had, I burn it.
Have a Clark bar, right, Clark?
Oh, I've never heard that before.
My noise level is so low right now. It's great.
I'm happy for you, Perry. I'm happy.
I mean, it is low. I mean, that that thing, that whatever you call it, that switching power supply noise or whatever isn't in there. There's no noise. I mean, it's just a flat background hiss just below S9. And I don't think it's going to get any lower than this where I'm at. I did notice that, I know I've been using that switching power supply that I took from my neighbor's house here on this station ever since I wrapped the cores on it. So I was just curious. I went down to the broadcast band when I got home from work to see if it was making any noise, and it was still making noise. Not much, just a little bit, down on the broadcast band. So, but it's weird. It wasn't doing it the other day, but now it was doing it today. So it's not having any effect up here. But it was just weird how it was making noise now and it wasn't the other day.
I take a hammer to that thing and get it. Don't let it get into anyone else's hands.
No, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll get rid of it. I think I have another wall wart around somewhere. I have one at work. I think that'll work. I saw it yesterday when I was looking for a spare bolt, and it was on the shelf underneath the workbench, and I was like, I looked at the plug, and I was like, this will probably work for that. And then at the house, so cool.
Some of those guys on DMR were getting on my nerves today. Some of those like self-appointed DMR gurus.
Wait, say that again?
Well, a couple of the guys are getting on my nerves on DMR today. A couple of guys on there, they're like DMR gurus, They have this, big fish in a small pond syndrome.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. And I can't, that's why I don't get on there much, man. I talk to you on there, Ernie, but that's why I don't get on there. Them guys just rub me the wrong way.
Well, there's a couple of them that, that think they know everything, okay? I mean, they know, but just a very narrow thing, So one of the guys gets on today, and he has a problem with his motorcycle. And he's got one of those motorcycles that's a trike. And he says it's pulling to the left all the time. Or pulling to the right. And he realizes that on a crown road, something will go to the right. But he says even in the center, it pulls to the right. And if he goes on to the other lane, it still pulls to the right. I said, that's very simple. I said, with those things, the two wheels are out of alignment. He says, well, you don't know what I have. My two wheels are in the front. I said, I don't care where the two wheels are. It's out of alignment. I said, I've been working on motorcycles my whole life, and with trikes, if the toe-in is off, it's going to pull. Well, the guy, it's like, well, yeah, but it's this and it's that. I said, you came on here saying you didn't know what it was, talking to your brother. And I'm trying to give you some advice, and, now you know it all.
You gotta love people. And I don't know, you know how some motorcycle people can get too. They get really anal and think that, especially people with trikes, are really even more weird, because it's weird to own a trike, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not, I hope nobody's listening to owns a trike. I'm not talking bad about you, but I don't know. It's just anybody that I've ever met, in my personal experience with a trike, has just been kind of a weirdo. But I know what he's probably too. Probably has one of them little Polaris things. They're for number one, they're super ugly, and number two, it's two wheels in the front and one in the back, and you have to set the toe on those things just like you do a vehicle. And even if it was a trike with with it in the rear, the two wheels in the rear, the axle can be off a little bit, and you could probably, I'm pretty sure you could set the toe on the back of those too. But especially the ones with the two wheels in the front, you have to set the toe on it just like it's on a vehicle. Because even if you're to go all the way over on the left-hand side of the road with the crown pulling the opposite way, and that thing's still pulling to the right, it's not an air pressure issue. It's not like the right front tire is low on air, unless it's really, really low on air, and then that would be an obvious fix. But you're right. It's I guarantee the alignment's off.
Well, there's a jig for that, okay? And he said, well, you don't need a jig. You can just do it. I said, how are you going to set it? How are you going to measure that? I said, they have a jig and an alignment rack for those things, because if it's even 1 or 2 millimeters off, it's going to drift. But, of course, you can't tell them nothing. So then I figure, why did I even get on here and say this, Because it's like no matter what, it's like these two guys know it all.
Right. Well, put it this way, I use a Hunter alignment machine at work. It's all digital, and it measures down to the 100th of a degree. Okay, and if say the right front or left front wheel is 1 or 2 hundredths of a degree off, it can cause a vehicle to pull. That's how That's how tight the tolerances have to be when aligning a vehicle. It can be a few hundredths of a degrees off, and it'll cause a pull.
But you're not going to do that by eye.
No, you're not. And even if, say, you do an eyeball alignment and you get the thing to drive straight, okay, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get abnormal tire wear, okay, which is a big problem. You could be dragging one tire, You could get the thing to drive straight, okay, it's pulling a little bit to the right, so I'll adjust this tire to the left and compensate for it. But both tires could be severely towed in, and you not see it, and then you're literally just pushing the tires down the road, and you're going to have to replace the tires in half the time that you would have if you just did a proper alignment on it. W3MMR.
Yep. Good points, W2SDR. You should be like an auto tech.
I know. What am I thinking?
How about that guy with the hood?
I don't even talk about it. It's embarrassing.
Anyway, I'll tell you a funny story, and Clark will get a kick out of this too, is that it was that same car, Perry, that I had, that the seat was loose and the shifter would pull out of the floor. This is an old jalopy I had, Clark, and the seat wasn't bolted down. The floorboards are rusted. So if I hit the gas too quick, like on a hill, the seat would the driver's bucket would tilt all the way back. I mean, it would fall almost into the back of the car. But anyway, I was driving down I-95 one night, talking on the CB, talking to Tom, and I said, I wonder what would happen if I shut the car off and then started it up again. I don't know what made me do that, but I forgot the car had a locking steering column. Well, I'm going down 95 about 70 miles an hour, and I shut the car off, and I couldn't turn the wheel. And I'm trying to turn the key to start the car again, okay, and the wheel was cocked a little bit. You know how if it's tight against one stop, you can't get the key, you can't turn the key? I was freaking.
You should have told that story on Creepy Story Night.
I remember you telling me that story, and Tom was like, yeah, just shut it off. I know Tom, thinking in the back of his head, knew exactly what the hell he was doing.
Yeah, nice friend. Just shut it off on 95 doing 70 miles an hour. You know, I guess, Clark, that's why, you know, maybe I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'll think of that maybe next Halloween, Clark. What do you think?
Well, look at all the conversation you saved people at your service. It probably wouldn't have been flattering.
I'm telling you. And I'm giving people vehicle advice on the radio. Yeah, just shut it off.
Oh, my God. I'm over here cracking up, man. Because as soon as you said, well, the wheel was cocked a little bit, I knew exactly what the next sentence was. So funny, man. Tom was a good guy, man. I miss him. I'm sure you do, obviously, but he was a heck of a guy. Last time I think I saw him was, I want to say, my freshman year of high school or sophomore. It was in high school when I got suspended for walking out. Because I was already suspended, number one, and I was an internal suspension, and we had that walkout. And everybody was, like, walking out protesting a guidance counselor that had gotten fired. And, of course, it wasn't a sweat off my back. Well, I didn't know her, and I didn't know nothing. I just wanted to walk out and be a part of the crowd. So I ended up walking out of in-school suspension, so they ended up kicking me out of school for 3 days. And you had come and pick me up that day. You or Tom were doing antenna work. You had your Yagi lowered on the 70-foot tower back there, and he was over the house helping you. I remember. I think that was the last time I saw him.
Tom was at your house helping you get your Yagi up?
Yeah, well, you know, it reminds me of that QSO last night a little bit. People were getting a little bit chilly, you know.
Oh, golly, as if that's not all over YouTube today.
That should have been recorded. I mean, that was classic, that exchange.
Oh, it was. I'll send you the link.
Oh, that's got to be burnt somewhere for safekeeping.
Yeah, I sent it to Clark and Billy today. Yeah, I was recording.
As I said, kids say the darndest things.
Earl would have nothing to do with that conversation.
Oh no, that's like a violation of manliness right there.
Hold on a second here. What's all right. Never mind. I'm over here. I got VAC on, and I didn't realize I had VAC on because I was talking to Dixon on the phone earlier and playing a video game, and I had the radio going, and I wanted to turn down the volume on the video game and still be able to hear the radio, so I had VAC on, and I've been sitting here with it on the whole time, and I was trying to play this YouTube video. I'm like, why isn't the sound working? It's because I had the computer sound turned down.
I hardly ever hear you on that DX100 anymore when we're on here in the afternoons, man. I should use that thing. I like it.
I know. I still got it over there. I've been, messing around with this. I was messing around with my audio and stuff, and what the hell? All right, hold on. I'll go over to it. Hold on. I'll be back in a couple minutes. W3MMR.
Man, talking about peer pressure.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Clark? Just throw that hint out there, and it's like, uh-oh.